Tonight, we bring you a special program with the soldiers of the New Zealand Army in Bosnia. In the next half hour, we'll see something of how they live, we'll see something of the work they do in the local communities, and we will share with them something of the spirit of Christmas.
Say hello, Daddy.
Hi, Daddy.
Hi, Noel. Happy Christmas.
One important thing I had to let you know was that we crashed a car in the mailbox this morning.
Good evening to you from central Bosnia, from the New Zealand base attached to the United Nations peacekeeping force in this beautiful but currently savage part of the world. The New Zealand base is situated about 8 kilometres east of a town called Vitez. Now, there's a very thick fog hanging over this whole area today, that if you could see more than 150 metres, if you could see 200 or 300 metres, you'd see the hills surrounding this small valley occupied by the Muslim forces. But this is the New Zealand base. I'm standing on a massive bunker the New Zealanders have built for their own protection, should they ever need it. And a bit beyond me there, you can see through the fog, I hope, some of the New Zealand base. You can hear the sound of that generator going 24 hours a day. You can see some of the huts placed on site, portable huts in which the men live and in which they perform their ablutions, in which they eat, in which they make a home for themselves so far away from their normal home. It's from this base, of course, that the New Zealanders go each day into this tired and traumatised community to perform their duties. And driving out, they see it, the death show. Silent remains of the horror inflicted here less than a year ago. Chilling ruins of family homes burnt by neighbours or shelled from the hills. They hang in the fog, these houses, presenting themselves briefly, then withdrawing again into the mist. And along these roads drives Kiwi company doctor Major Nigel Murray and his team.
What we do, Paul, is the platoons have areas of operations. We've got a village in mind to go to this morning. It is one that has been identified as a problem area. A number of refugees here are displaced persons, and what we are anticipating is a fairly large clinic, mainly women and children, because the men are out in the military environments around this country, so we don't see as many young men.
Is it satisfying going around as part of a medical unit?
The good thing about it is you go to the villages, you see the state that some of the children are in, and some of the adults, and it's good to go back every couple of weeks and see the advancement that you're actually making in that area. So yeah, it's really brilliant.
One of the biggest problems is people who have had a good health service before the war and have now lost it. It was reasonable. But now the situation is there's no medicines in reasonable supply, and it's difficult for the villagers to get through some of the protected areas and the checkpoints, though that's improving all the time, to see the doctor or to see a nurse.
Okay. 140/80. Okay, if you could tell him that his blood pressure is good. The main problem he's got is the nervousness from being a refugee, which I will be able to give him some tablets to help him sleep. If you can explain that.
Vole me kosti, me bole kolena skroz od ozdo, ovdje pa skroz ovako od unučaka, samo šta radi.
And they're stiff, his legs. Stiff. And I will give him some tablets for the shaking. I will give him, he has a condition that causes shaking and stiffness in the legs. So we'll give him some tablets for that and the pain in his legs. He's a very interesting patient. He's a refugee, and we see this a lot around the villages. Displaced persons are usually very anxious. They're homesick. They're missing their old homes before their families. They don't sleep. They're very agitated. But we can help them in very subtle ways by giving them a sleeping tablet at night for a short period of time, and also just curing those chronic ailments of the elderly. This gentleman had Parkinson's disease, and we can alleviate some of those symptoms just with some tablets.
We have glasses. They're old glasses that people have used before and thrown out, and they're particularly useful to us here because a lot of people basically ran out of their house as it was burning down and left behind those little valuables that are so critical to them. So glasses are very popular and hard to find.
With the children particularly, what are the problems there?
The children, there's some malnourished children, which we're able to help by identifying and passing on to UNHCR, and they can get food to them. We can supply vitamins. We can advise mothers on the management of breastfeeding and feeding their youngest ones, and also things like scabies.
Is it satisfying what you're doing? I mean, are you able to have an effect?
We can have an effect on a day-to-day basis. Our primary objective is to help the local infrastructure into the future. And concurrently with these mobile clinics, we're helping the hospital committees down the road. We've had some very good successes with the Croat and Muslim community, hospital communities, getting back together through some meetings we've sponsored. And they're planning these, they're helping us plan these villages, village visits. And that's very rewarding to us.
And when the doctor and his team and the patrols, the vehicles come back to this base, they're coming to one that the British somewhat haughtily call Gucci base because of the generosity of appointment, because of the abundance of amenities offered the men here. A local vehicle moving in, a couple of New Zealand UNPROFOR vehicles getting set to move out on this early thick fog morning from the New Zealand base in Bosnia. This is roughly the entrance to the camp. You see some of the operational huts there, and then you swing round, look what looks like a quarry here. The New Zealanders decided very early on this would be a mud-free base, and so the entire floor of the base is covered with this gravel, anti-mud. The guts of the camp is through there, including the generator, which roars 24 hours a day. And this is Staff Sergeant Bernard Nicol, known as Porky. Why do they call you Porky?
Wouldn't have a clue, Paul. Wouldn't have a clue.
It's sometimes very hard to tell these things. You're from where?
Brought up in Wellington, now living in Palmerston. Yeah, working out of Linton Camp.
And now living in Bosnia?
Yes, now living in Bos.
In a very nice, sunny Bosnia. Now, you're connected to the engineers, and so you've had a great deal to do with putting this whole camp together.
Yeah, that's right.
Because a couple of interesting features. Come over here, Staff Sergeant, if you would, to have a look. I see here that we already have a beautification program, is this it?
Yeah, that's right. The Camp TIC decided to employ this Greenpeace project and bit of the old sewer pipe, bit of the tree, bit of the old and the new, keep things ticking along, and eventually we'll spread out and get the whole place squared away. And Paul, this is one of the Italian design haciendas.
Very elegant.
Yes, very much so.
And here is Paul over here. Which bunk is yours?
The top one.
Gee, not very wide. It's only about a yard wide, isn't it?
It's only supposed to fit one.
And 4 people in this cabin, like a small caravan.
Yeah, we're one of the unlucky ones. We have 4. Some of the rooms have 3, but we learned to live with one another.
That'd take a while, I would imagine.
Yeah, it did. Everyone has their old grumpy days, but it's just a case of...
And their odd habits.
Yeah.
Odd habits. And up there, shelving too, very nice bit of improvised shelving, also Italian, of course, in concept, I suppose, the unpainted wood, and you got your boots, a bit of dynamo up there when you do the laundry.
Yeah, only problem is now it's starting to get a bit cold at night, and the water's starting to freeze, so we only do the washing during the day now.
Okay, and then we see the triumph, if you like, of this designer living quarters, these beautiful armchairs. Where'd you find these?
These armchairs, we acquired them out of a broken down vehicle off the side of the road.
An Italian vehicle, a German vehicle?
A local vehicle.
A local vehicle, very good. Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Round through the mud-free camp we go on the concrete paths. Everything's very white. White buildings, white this, white that.
Well, we've even organised a white Christmas too.
Oh, you'll have that.
Just to keep everything in perspective, yeah.
And here is a very beautiful sign to remind everybody where they are in relation to home. Why, here you see Flaxmere is on one of the signs there. Ruatoki, Murawai. I suppose the fellas are from these places.
So what? There's some over there, why don't you ask them?
While you've got this opportunity, any complaints? Anything you want to tell the people at home that, well, the Staff Sergeant's here to hear your complaints?
Oh, it's not really a complaint, it's just now that the government's sent a great number of teeth arm corpers on UN deployment, that they keep sending them. Yeah, don't just cut it after this deployment.
Because it's great to be able to do what you're trained for. Is that it?
Yeah.
So where are you from?
Mangere.
From Mangere.
Yeah.
What do you miss about home?
My girlfriend. Yeah.
And whereabouts are you from?
Palmerston.
Palmerston North. And what do you miss?
Tracy.
This weather very similar to Palmerston.
Oh, I think it's a bit different from Palmerston North, as you'll find, as we get on.
Exciting enough for you, this place?
At the beginning it was right, but now it's starting to...
Be a good routine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thanks, Paul.
And then if you just come over here, Staff Sergeant, look at this. A great Christmas tree here. Somebody's done something for Christmas, and that's well anchored in a bucket.
Yeah, and I believe the boys put lights on it at night too to make themselves, you know, get the old Christmas atmosphere going and everything else.
And they take the lights off when they go to bed for the morning. There's no lights on during the day.
No lights on during the day.
Because they might disappear.
Oh, not necessarily. They could freeze.
They could freeze. And that small Christmas tree really is just one of many signs we've seen of an obvious determination the New Zealanders have shown since they've been here to turn this barren place into home, a place in which to be secure during both the coming long winter and the misery of this war. Still to come on the programme, messages from home and the hottest act in Bosnia.